Okay, I'm starting out with a Spam can. And to start with, to make sure everything sticks and doesn't scratch off, I am going to give it a coat of this primer. It bonds to wood, metal, and more. And then after I do that, I'm going to give it a coat of the Waverly ink. Well, I have my can painted black, and now I'm going to put just some Elmer's glue over for the can and cover the can with that. I hope I had to put water in my glue. I hope it still works good. I may have to let it dry for just a bit before I go over it with my paint. And I'm going to be using the colored plaster. I think I'm going to hit this with the glue gun just a little bit to try to get it to be tacky, but not wet wet. Now, I'm going to put the glue back and go over it with the plaster color. And I can't drag my brush much. Eek, I'm pulling it off. Might have dried it too much. Or my glue may be wet, too wet, because I had to put water in it. It's clumping. Well, we'll see how it turns out. I do believe it would have helped had I not had to put water in my glue. Got a big glob right there. I hate to touch it. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone. See how it works. Make sure. Okay. Looks like it's doing all right. Might have a few bumps on it and stuff, but that's okay. Right, I'm going to set it aside and let it dry totally, and then I'll probably go over it with some Waverly, the dark wax, the antiquing wax. But I'm going to set it aside right now and let it dry completely and start looking for some things to decorate it with. Well, I have it all painted up. I put a coat of Mod Podge on it and then went over it with some antiquing wax. And now I'm going to cut a piece of this floral foam down and find me some flowers or some kind of greenery or something and make it cute. I have my floral foam out here, and I'm just kind of making an indentation so I can see where to cut. Should have it. Yep. Wet stuff's messy. messy, messy. Okay, so, yep. Okay, fit down in there. Now I'm going to get me some kind of greenery or some florals or something. It's spring, so probably something springy. All right, I got my Spam can all finished, and that was definitely trash. And that's how it turned out. I'll give you a close-up. I put my floral foam down in there and stuck some greenery and some flowers in it and some Spanish moss and tied a homespun bow around it. Okay, I'm going to go see what else I can get into. I have a couple scraps of wood here in my craft room. One's a 2x4 and one was a 2x2. So I measured how long they was. And I'd seen something similar on Pinterest. So I came in here to the Silhouette software and designed this, and now I'll cut it out in my vinyl. Well, I started on my blocks. This should be a simple, easy project to put together and be fast. It's just the main part's just waiting for the paint to dry. But I gave both boards a coat of the black ink by Waverly. This one I didn't hit very good because it's going to have the country tan on it. And then this one, when I get this on there, I will stencil this in the country tan. Seal them, put them together in an easy craft. I have my blocks all painted and my stencils on, and now all I'm going to do is start stenciling. And then after I do that, I'll probably put a coat, some kind of a sealer on it, and they'll be finished. Alright, I finished, I pulled this off, and I decided to go ahead and put the middle piece back on and paint the star in a golden sunset. So I'm going to do that. I hadn't planned on it, but when I pulled that off, to me it looked kind of plain, so I'm going to put the star on it. Well, this was a very easy project to do. It was quick. It was just some scrap wood, a 2x4 and a 2x2, and you can see what all I put on it. And I did distress the edges. And then I went over all of it to seal it with Men Wax Special Dark. Alright, this is a basket I got at the thrift store a long time ago, and I figured I needed to get something made with it and get it out of my room. It's just been thrown around in here, and it's cute. I just had never figured out what I wanted to do with it. And I saw the cloth sunflowers, primitive sunflowers, and I thought they were really cute. And so I'm going to make about 2, 3, 4 of them to go in the basket. But I thought, well, I'll share how I make them. I don't know how everybody else does it, but it looked like they was just using circles. And you can get patterns off of Etsy, but I don't think that's a necessity with what I'm making. It's so simple. Anyways, I'm going to do two different materials. And I think I'm going to have this one for the petal and this for the middle. As you can see, I've made some more. Or made some already. So, and this is just material that I got at the thrift store. I'm trying to figure out where to start cutting. Right in here. I think I'm going to double this so I don't have to cut 2 circles. And I looked around my room. I kind of figured out what size of sunflower I wanted. So I looked around my room for something to use, and I thought this size right here was a good size. So I'm just going to trace around that. It's mine are going to have 2 petals, or 2 sets of flower petals. Alright, before I cut that though, I will pin it together. Then for my center, I'm going to use this material. Okay, I want to cut right. I didn't want to have to pull it all out, but I'm going to. Alright. Right there, and I found this, the top of this lid, so I'll trace that out. And that'll be the middle of my flower. Now, I'm just going to cut these out, and after I get them cut out, I'll be back and show you what else I do. Alright, I have them cut out, and I've got those 2 together, and I'm going to put this one in the center. Let me pull it close to me for just a second, see if I got it centered good. Good enough. Now that's a little long. Okay, I'm going to put another pin here to hold it. Then I have some thread that I have here and a needle. I'm going to come up from underneath and I'm just going to do a little running stitch all the way around. I'd go more than that, but that gold material is thick and hard to get through. You can't hardly go more than 1 stitch. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to go all the way around on this. Okay. Alright, before I close it up, I'm going to take some stuffing and put in the center. Okay, that's about right. Now I'm going to finish closing it up. I'm going to stick this down, go back through my material, and go back here and knot it off. Do that twice. Okay. That's good. Now I'll take my scissors. Well, I got that a little off center. That's just fine because this is primitive anyway. You don't have to be perfect. And I'm just going to cut the first top, or the top of the petals, the top petals, about a ½ inch apart. All the way around. Okay, and then on the underneath petals, I'm going to cut right in between each petal, the top ones. Did I not cut all the way around on the top? No, I didn't. Thought I did. Okay. Now I'm going to take my mixture I have here of just, it's coffee and cinnamon and water. And I don't think I don't know if I'll put a lot. I have to, my cinnamon's sunk to the bottom, so I would have to get down in there like that to get the cinnamon, but I'm not all that worried about getting a lot of cinnamon. I just want the color. And I'm just gonna go all the way around with that. Okay, I'll turn it over and get the back side. Okay, that got it all. I'll set this aside. And now from here, I'll wipe my hands off for a minute. I'll get my heat gun, and I won't have y'all suffer through all this, but I like to really get it started, get it mostly dry, and then set it aside. But I like to pull my petals apart. I like the tops kind of coming up, and when you start drying, I don't know, when it gets finished, it just gives it some texture. It just looks neat. Okay, it's not totally dry, but it's dry enough that it's going to hold its self in place. And see how it kind of gives a little texture to the sunflowers. And I have two others I made here. Well, I actually have three, but that black, the one with the black center, I don't think I'm going to be able to use it because the material is really fraying on me. So, probably won't be able to use that one. But here's three that I've made, and I think those three will look cute somehow done up in this basket. So I'm going to let this one finish drying and figure out what I'm going, how I'm going to probably take some dowel rods and, you know, just stuff down in there to hold them up. And I need some floral or some greenery or something. I wished I had some dried florals, but I don't. Because and I'm not where I can get to a store. It would take me an hour just to go into town and an hour to get home, and that's not happening. So, I'll work with what I have. I'm going to start looking around my room and see what I can find. Okay, I've taken some bamboo screws and, oh, I almost dropped that. And I'm gluing these on the back. When I get done, I will cut a piece of fabric and put some tea dye on it, or the coffee stain dye, and glue it down on that so it won't look so messy. But I've got to figure out something after I get my floral or my flowers in there. It has to have something, and greenery just won't look right with this. So I'm going to get the flowers stuck down in there, and then I'm going to try to come up with something to kind of go in with it. And I'm thinking maybe I should have made a little small one, I don't know, to go here on the front. But that's what I'm working on so far. Okay, I have those down in there, and now I'm trying to come up with something for a filler in between them. So I don't know if it's going to work, but I thought I'd put stuff like this maybe on some of the bamboo sticks. And I've just done some stuff up, and all I've done is just, you know, lay some about 5-inch, 6-inch strips out, and then gathered them up in the middle and tied them. And I thought that might be a filler. I don't know. I'm just giving it a shot because I don't have what I'm really wanting to put in there. I don't think I have anything that fits in with this, so I wanted to let you know where I was at and what I was doing with these. Alright, I got it finished, and I think I'm somewhat pleased with the way it turned out. You can spend way too much time on one project, and I was going around and around with what to fill that in with. And as I showed you earlier, I just took some strips of material and tied a knot around the bottom, and I put them on the screws, and then I stuck some pip berries in there, and I think it turned out just fine. And this right here, I just took a piece off. I took a flower out of a stem that I had in one of my vases here in the living room, and then I put some of the tea dyed or the coffee and cinnamon on it to darken it up. I just love these little flowers. I think they're so cute. And you know, you could just do these so many different ways. I remember when people were doing the tin cans, this would be cute done up a certain way with tin cans. And then where you take a long board and like burlap or muslin or something and make a wall pocket and have these coming out of it. I can see so many things to make these for. 4th of July. Oh, I really like them. They're fun, they're easy, and I'm kind of hooked on them, but I've got to move on and do something else now. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Until the next one, we'll see you later. Kitty cat.